Hello and welcome to Female Cricket Live. The 26th match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup was played today between New Zealand and Pakistan, which New Zealand went on to win by 71 runs. Batting first, New Zealand posted a fighting score of 265 for 8 in 50 overs thanks to their opening batter Suzie Bates, who scored 126 runs of 135 balls. In the process, Suzie Bates became the first New Zealander to go past 5,000 ODI runs for New Zealand. For Pakistan, it was their veteran right-arm off-spinner Nida Dar who was the pick of the bowlers as she picked up 3 for 39 in her 10 overs, including one maiden. In reply, Pakistan could score 194 for 9 in 50 overs as they fell shy of 71 runs in the end. With the bat again, it was Nida Dar who top scored for Pakistan with a brilliant 50 and received good support from captain Bisma Maroof, who chipped in with 38 runs. For New Zealand, it was Hannah Rowe who wreaked havoc with the ball, picking up 5 for 55 in her 10 overs. So after that match, we can see that the campaign, World Cup campaign of both these teams, New Zealand and Pakistan, has been completed with New Zealand winning 3 matches out of their 7 and Pakistan winning 1 out of their 7 games. Now ahead of us, we have another exciting contest. It is between England and Bangladesh. The match will be played tomorrow, that is 27th of March, at the Basin Reserve in Wellington, and it will start at 3:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So you can catch all the live action of this England-Bangladesh match on Star Sports and Disney Plus Hotstar. Now to talk more about this match between England and Bangladesh, I have with me Dhanush Lavanya and Urvi Shah. So Dhanush Lavanya is a content writer at Female Cricket and Urvi Shah is a mental health facilitator and an avid cricket writer. So I welcome both of you to Female Cricket Live.
Thank you.
All right, great. Great to have you back again. So, Dhanush, England, they are coming from a good win against Pakistan. And I think in our earlier conversations, we were having this discussion about England's opening pair of Tammy Beaumont and Danny Wyatt. Of course, Danny Wyatt not getting enough runs for England. But then in that game against Pakistan, she scored a brilliant 76 not out. So, what are your comments on Danny Wyatt's batting? And of course, what will be the approach for England going into the match against Bangladesh tomorrow?
The approach will be simple, go for the win. But as far as the way the whole match went on for England against Pakistan was just, I guess they are going to be really happy because with Danny White coming back to form, 76 of 68 balls, she was scoring at a really good pace. She hit some really good boundaries as well. So I feel that they were looking forward for just Danny White to step up by the time by the league stage ends, and she has done that. We have seen Nat Silver being pretty much consistent in the tournament. Tammy Beaumont had a few really good games in the early stages, and Heather Knight also has come back well. It's been a very good performance over the last 3 games for them. They have won 3 back-to-back matches, and tomorrow is one more where they have to go out and play the normal brand of cricket that they are known for. And I feel that England will pretty easily win tomorrow's game. I feel like just like how Pakistan they played against Pakistan. If they win the toss, they will put Bangladesh on to bat first. They will try to bundle them out for one below 150 and then try to chase it off well. But the player that I will be looking forward is for Tammy Beaumont because she scored a really good half century in the first couple of games. But after that, she has gotten starts and has failed when England have won the matches. So I feel that if Tammy Beaumont comes back, England will be really ready for the semi-finals against South Africa or Australia that they will be playing. Uri, what do you say about the England bowling unit? When we talk about, they have been up and down, is what I feel. Especially the opening bowlers and Catherine Brunt and Anya Shrubsole. But Catherine Brunt, after a long time, because this whole tournament she was pretty quiet. She's a seasoned campaigner, a veteran in the side, playing her third or fourth World Cup, and she is someone that the team really wanted to step up along with Danny White. And with the way Catherine Brunt got 3 for 17 against Pakistan, how happy will the rest of the bowling unit be?
They would be super happy because when you have the experienced player getting the go, you have a kind of confidence in yourself also, like, okay, if she has got there, maybe I can just assist and maybe I can push through and I can get my lengths right. And of course, when the experienced bowler gets going, they give a lot to the other players. Like, they'll go up to them and they'll be like, okay, no, maybe you can bowl on this length, maybe you can put on this side, maybe this is what the batter is aiming, bowl a little wide, a little off. So I think it becomes a more proactive conversation than a passive conversation because the likes of Catherine Brunt, if she gets going, we know how lethal she is in her game, right? So it gives a good push to the bowling attack. And I feel consistency in bowling attack is something that England will really look forward to. Like now that they are getting into the groove for tomorrow's game, they do not want any of their bowlers to go for more runs. Considering it's Bangladesh, but again we know Bangladesh, being Bangladesh, they can be a good spoil sport for them. So they really need to take this one seriously if they want to qualify for the semifinals. So yeah, I feel that yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask this question to Julie. England, we all know that they are the team that will be aiming to win this game by a big margin, because if you see the net run rate between India and England, there is not much of a difference. If we compare both the teams' qualification chances, England have a better hand compared to India, because India are playing South Africa, who have been one of the best sides in the tournament. They have won 4 games, 4 really close games, and they know how to play in these crucial moments at the end stages of the match, where they have to come together and take the team across the line, which unfortunately India haven't done in a few games. So how do you feel England will be looking forward tomorrow? Will it be like how they played against Pakistan, like how I was thinking, where they will put them out to bat, put the Bangladeshi batsmen out there to bat, and they will try to score runs. They will try to restrict them for a low score, and then score that off so that they will get a big net run rate boost. Is this the same approach, or will it be the opposite?
Uh, so I think, given the fact that they have already tried doing that against Pakistan in the last match, probably that is a tried and tested way, and England will not want to risk it, given the fact that semi-final position is in contention right now. So probably if they get a chance to win the toss, they'll probably again bowl first, reduce Bangladesh to as low total as possible. But just I wanted to make sure that England does not take this Bangladesh team lightly, because in the last match when we saw Bangladesh playing against Australia, they gave them a pretty tough fight, I would say. Though from the scoreboard, you would see that Australia went on to win the match by 5 wickets, but they took, I think, 32 overs to score that 135 runs. And Salma Khatun picked up Rachel Haynes, Elisa Healy, and Meg Lanning in a jiffy. So, England have to be worried of the fact that Salma Khatun is in good form, and probably we may see Salma Khatun again opening the bowling for Bangladesh and can get rid of the England top order batters as she did to Australia. So, long story short, probably for England, it is important that they don't take Bangladesh lightly at all, give their best, and make sure that they win. Whatever happens in the toss, that is secondary actually, but they have to make sure that they win if they want to qualify for the semi-finals. And also, I remember Heather Knight mentioning in the post-match presentation that it is not important how we start the World Cup campaign, but how we end, that is important. So I'm sure that the England players will be up and going against Bangladesh, and they want to seal that semi-final position. So, Urvi, moving on to you. Bangladesh, of course, as I spoke earlier, that they gave a tough fight to Australia. And we all know that they were playing their maiden World Cup, 50 over World Cup. So, according to you, what have been the key takeaways for Bangladeshi team, given the fact that they are going to be playing the last league match tomorrow?
I think I would just first, before I answer this question, I would just add to what you mentioned about them playing against Australia and pulling them to 33rd over. I don't think, Danush, that is going to be a case like they are going to restrict Bangladesh for low total, and then, or maybe just get them at a big gap of runs, margin of win. But yeah, so for Bangladesh, it would be like no matter if you have faced the opponent or not, if you go out and play your best game, no matter what the level of play the opponent is playing, you can still go out and make them uh, give a run for their money. So that is one of the biggest takeaway for Bangladesh. Like no matter which opponent or which level they are playing, if you know yourself, if you trust your game, you're going to go out and play your best. Secondly, I feel somewhere their bowling is going to be like a big positive takeaway, like especially the likes of Sharma Khatun and everyone. So they are going to be very confident about their gameplay in different conditions. Like I feel Bangladesh was put up to the challenge against uh, like lower the game overs and everything. They had a lot of challenges in their own journey. So despite the external factors affecting their game, I feel moving through it will be like one of the takeaways for them. And batting, of course, they will take lessons of how to be consistent. Like maybe if they go back and watch Australia play the 7 games that they have won, they can really take a lot from them on how to bat better, how to be consistent in your approach. I think not just Bangladesh, I feel everyone can take that thing, like how to be consistent in your game, because that is the only team that has won 7 out of 7 games. So they have a lot to take from there. So Dhanush, you have anything to add to the positives for Bangladesh here?
Definitely. When you have this kind of a sympathy or a kind of a very good feel towards Bangladesh side in this World Cup. I personally have had, because they have been the first time players of this, really new into this whole format, whole circuit and all. And the way they have performed in that period, even though wins and losses doesn't matter in this situation, it's about how they have performed, how they have been on the field, how they have carried themselves. And it's just awesome to see how they have done this throughout the tournament, all the 6 games that they played. If you take from the very first match till now, the first match itself against South Africa, they had a chance of winning it, but they lost it just by a margin. And then against New Zealand, they had the weather conditions not playing a favor to them, and that's why they lost that game. And they didn't have that quick adaptability according to the conditions, and New Zealand won the match pretty easily. And as the tournament has progressed, they performed well against Pakistan. They got a big win against them that is going to be celebrated for a long time in Bangladesh cricket. And if you come to the match against Australia now, the previous day, it was amazing to see how they batted all together. They remind you that Australia have bowled out New Zealand and West Indies in this tournament, but they couldn't bowl out the Bangladeshi women out there. They stood there, they played the 43 overs, even though they scored 135 runs. Made sure they stood there until the very last ball, and they didn't just give up. Lata Mondal out there, she scored like 36 of 63 balls. It takes patience for any batsman to stay there and not score much runs, but still make sure that the team at least finishes up their quota of 43 overs that they had. That shows a lot of heart from this team. And with the fast learners that they are, the time next World Cup comes up, maybe the T20 World Cup that will be happening next year, or the next World Cup that will be happening in 2025-26, I feel this team will be a lot better than what we have seen. There is huge promise in this squad, and there is only big things and good things to happen if they get good bilateral series against big teams like India, England, and Australia. If they get the chance to tour these countries and get that experience as well, I feel that this team is out there to make it big in the future. Any positive words from your side, Jury, as far as Bangladesh is concerned? Um, Adding to my words.
Yeah, of course. I think you summed it up pretty well, Dhanush, that probably Bangladesh should get more chances to play against the big teams, because I think tomorrow they are going to play England and they have never played each other in the ODI format. They just have 320Is that they have played against each other, and the last one was back in 2018. So it is going to be pretty new for both the teams in the 50-over format. And apart from whatever both of you have added about the positives, I feel Fargana Hope was a big plus for Bangladesh. She could open the batting, she could come in at number three. So she could give that solidity to the otherwise fragile looking Bangladeshi team. And of course, Nigar Sultana Jyoti. She, I think, led the team absolutely well, given the fact that I have been mentioning earlier that there are already former captains of Bangladesh in that team, and it is very difficult for a young captain to have these already former players as captains in the same team. So I think Nigar Sultana Jyoti and Fargana Hoque were, I think, the two more positives apart from what Dhanush and Urvi you have mentioned. So now again, moving back to the England Bangladesh contest. So as I spoke earlier, that they have not played an ODI against each other. So how difficult or how different will it be for both the teams? Dhanush, if you can answer this, but okay, just let me see one. Okay, we have something from Chaitanya Rajans. England need to win big, otherwise India can overtake them to come third and face South Africa in semis. I think Dhanush was talking something on a similar lines moments ago. But okay, so Dhanush, maybe you can take this up first and probably then answer how both the teams will approach differently.
Yeah, but for if you see the current scenario right now, if you see the points table out there, it's in the hands of England and India to go into the semifinals. Right on the other side, there is West Indies who are crossing their fingers, praying as much as possible, and that's the scenario out there. For sure, the net run rate won't matter much, but definitely England have a better chance to win. And Chaitanya here mentioning that they have to win big. That is why I felt that they have to follow the same the approach that they had against Pakistan, where they put the opposition to bat and try to bundle them out as early as possible. But we have seen the heart of Bangladesh, like I was saying. they made sure they played their whole 45, 43 overs, and even though they scored less, they made sure to play the whole overs. Even if Bangladesh manages to play all the 50 overs, that's a huge thing altogether. That will have its own impact on the net run rate. And then England have to come out and they have to play the spin attack of Bangladesh that has been really good. Salma Khatun, like how you said, Judy, the last match, after first 10 overs, I just randomly opened the scorecard and it was like 26 for 3. And I was like, what is happening here? And there was that slight feel of that upset. And if that thing repeats once again tomorrow, and this is an England batting unit which is not as consistent when you compare with an Australian batting unit. So certainly, I feel it's going to be important for England to come in with a perfect approach, come in with a perfect mindset. If they are batting first, go for a big score. If you are bowling first, attack bowl your attacking lens and bundle them out as early as possible, and make sure you chase off the score as early as possible, so that anything that they get from this game, it's the net run rate with the points. And if they finish at number 2, number 3, they will face South Africa, which they will take any day when you compare them to play against Australia, because Australia they are 7-0 and South Africa they are 4 they have won 4 matches, but they even England lost against South Africa in a very close encounter. So definitely they will choose South Africa in a semi-final rather than an Australia. I'm really looking forward to see how the approach from England side will be. Would be anything to add on to this?
Yeah, probably they will. England will look to um, just bowl first and get them out before they put up a score of like 150. Also, because it is very important for them to chase it in less overs, right? And as Dhanush rightly mentioned, that if they get Bangladesh gets on to rattling the top order of England, it's going to be very difficult for England to just get their act together and just chase the score. So anything can happen for England. It has to be one mindset: in it to win it. There is nothing else. No uh, room for, okay, even if we get this many runs, or even if we get this many runs, there is no ifs and buts allowed for them, because Bangladesh has nothing to lose. And I remember Julie mentioning that it's the most dangerous thing, that when the team has nothing to lose, they are on their lethal self. So Bangladesh will look to uh, bring the hopes of England down, and England will have to just keep believing in themselves. I don't have anything else to add here. Julie, you
Yeah.
have anything to say here?
Yeah, I think it will be little tricky also for England because they will be playing under some pressure given the fact that their semi-final position is at risk, and Bangladesh again, as you mentioned, that they have nothing to lose. So probably England will have some pressure, and maybe they would not want to crumble under pressure, and of course put their best foot forward. So before we maybe sum up this conversation, your quick predictions for tomorrow's game, Dhanush, if we can start with you,
Yeah,
the score and of
definitely.
course who will win.
Yeah, the score, as I said, repeating like four or fifth time now. If
Yes.
England bat first, go out there, score 270 plus, and try to restrict the Bangladeshi side as less runs as possible. If they are bowling first, like how the approach is again was against Pakistan, just bundle them out less than 150 and try to score it off within first 20 overs. That is what
Hmm.
the approach is. Definitely, England are sure shot winners, is what I feel, but I would love to see how much fight Bangladesh will give, because they stood up and gave a competitive fight against Australia the other day.
Hmm.
So I want to see one more thing, maybe a scary situation like how it was 30-3 in the previous game, a similar kind
Yes.
of situation happens. Then England must take out the net run stuff outside, and they have to focus on this game and try to win it. So
Yeah.
definitely England on paper the winners, but will be really happy to see the fight from Bangladesh. That's been the highlight of this tournament for me.
Urvi, what do you think will happen? Will we see a nail biter or a lopsided affair tomorrow?
Definitely a nail biter. Knowing how Bangladesh rolls, they are not going to let it go easily. But I was also reading the pitch report, and they said like there are rain interruptions expected in tomorrow's game also. So I hope that does not ruin a lot for the England or Bangladesh team tomorrow, because that will just make it a lopsided affair. Because when rain comes in, it can either go for a washout or it can just be like a one-side game altogether. So I would go again with same what Dhanush said, like 270 plus if England is batting, if they want to win. And if Bangladesh is batting, just get them to as low as like 135, 140 so that you can chase it down.
And also, one more thing to add on is the temperature. It is like around 10 to 13, 10 to 15. So it's going to be really cold out there. Bangladesh
Yes.
felt it the other day when they played against Australia. So I feel that England now has to get their approach right. And even Meg Lanning was telling that she felt really tough to play in those conditions. And even though the rain wasn't any interruption, the conditions, which was really cold, and the ball was
Windy.
and there was constant wind out there, so it
Hmm.
is going to be a challenge for sure. And England batters have to make sure that their approach was right as per the conditions they are playing as well, not just looking at scoring big runs or chasing off small totals. It's about playing as per the conditions as well. So I feel England have to keep that in mind, but Bangladesh will be prepared in a way because they played their previous match in the same venue. So that is also
Hmm.
one small advantage in a way for Bangladesh, what I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to what Dhanush said, Beth Mooney also in the post-match presentation, she appreciated Salma Khatun, and she said that probably Salma Khatun was one of the most craftiest bowlers that she has played against. So again, England will have to be worried of the fact that Salma Khatun is in good form. She has had a couple of good games, of course, with both bat and ball. So she will be the key to Bangladesh's success if they happen to win against England tomorrow. All right, so great. It was nice talking to both of you, Dhanush and Urvi. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to all the fans and viewers for watching this. And we'll be back again tomorrow at 8 p.m. to talk about the four semi-finalists that we would be having with after the tomorrow's double header. So do join us for a conversation tomorrow at 8 p.m. and send us your questions using hashtag Female Cricket Live. Thank you.
Thank you.